But then when people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm from Japan, and then they're like, what are you? Now, that's the second question that I'll be asked. So I'm like, oh, I mean, like I'm Japanese, but like my dad's Indian.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Takashi from Japan. So today I'm going to interview half Japanese, half Indian. So I'm gonna ask her about her experience of growing up in Japan as half Japanese and also her experience of visiting India. Okay, let's find out today. On my channel, I interview Japanese people and foreigners in Japan. So it's the best channel for anyone who wants to come to Japan without traveling or living. You can also learn Japanese here. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. And on my Instagram, I show my daily life in Tokyo, share information about Japan. And I'm also uploading short version of my interview, so if you haven't followed yet, please follow it too. Okay, let's get started. Thank you for your time. Can you introduce your background to my viewers?
Yes, thanks for having me. My name is Priyanka Yoshikawa. I'm part Indian and Japanese. My mom's Japanese, my dad's Indian. I was originally born in Tokyo, but I was raised in the States and India, and I came back when I was 11. I did a bit of entertainment. I did modeling since I was 16. I did a pageant in 2016, and I won Miss World Japan as like the first biracial person. I'm currently 29. I just turned 29 actually 2 days ago, but yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
A little bit late, but yeah.
So that's kind of a little background of who I am.
I'm gonna ask you directly this question, like what's it like living in Japan as half Japanese, half India?
Living as a hafu in Japan has not always been easy. It took time for me to find peace within me and have a distance with Japan and like a comfortable distance. And now I actually like living in Japan, but it was never easy. Yeah, so being a hafu, or I don't know exactly of being part Indian, but just being a hafu, being someone that is not fully Japanese, has been difficult for sure.
Can I ask you more detail?
Yeah, sure.
If it's
of course.
okay?
Yeah, yeah. Why?
Why and what exactly you experienced?
I was the only hafu kid in my school. I went to a domestic school. I didn't go to international school. I couldn't read or write Japanese. I couldn't fit in. I was brown. I was tall. My attitude or like my character was very different from being typical Japanese. So it was just this whole like identity crisis kind of thing happened. Before going into seventh grade, I already moved twice after I came back, so within that year or something. And in both of the schools, I got bullied. When I was talking about difficulties, like I was actually like bullied. So I was like treated like a germ. If like you bump into me, then I'm a germ. So you wipe yourself off and that. And like that was like that was like the bullying that I went through when I first came
Yeah,
back.
that's kind of typical bully in Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to me. And then in Japan, I really feel that a lot of things are very categorized. So you're a hafu, or you're a foreigner, or you're Japanese. Not being accepted and being looked at a very different way when you're just being yourself at a very young age. It was difficult because I didn't know where I exactly belonged, but I was Japanese, but like they couldn't see me as that. And then they're like, you're an American, but I'm like, I'm not an American. And then they're like, you're an Indian, but I'm like, I am, but like I can't really, I only lived there for a year. So it's like my second home, but not exactly to the point of saying, okay, I'm Indian, that's all. So all these like trying to find answers of who I was very difficult. And because it felt like I had to give them like a proper answer of who I was. So those things, like, that journey was difficult, I think.
About India. So you lived in India for a year when you were 10, 9, right? And every year you spend in India for a month. That's kind of big deal. A month, it's not a week, right? So, right? So like, did you study by yourself?
After 18, I revisited India, and then that's when I started
yourself?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I have home there, and like I have family.
Yeah, it must be easier. Yeah, yeah.
So I visited, and then I got to reconnect with my roots. It was more of like the first phase, rethinking or realizing who I am partly, after like the bullying and the early teens, 18, okay, like I'm obviously a hafu. Okay, I'm Indian. That's what people tell me, but I don't know anything about India. So I was like, I want to go back. So I decided to go to India, and then I stayed. I only booked a ticket for 1 week, but I extended it for a month. only in Calcutta because I'm Bengali, so my dad's from Calcutta. And then since then, I would revisit almost every year. After I won my pageant, work took me to India, so I would go to Bombay or Mumbai, and then afterwards, I would still go back, and within like a month, like a month.
Can you imagine yourself living in India one day, maybe in 5 years or maybe like in the future, just in general? Can you imagine yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't mind living in India, but I will give you only two cities. I don't mind living in Mumbai and in Goa. Like I visit Calcutta because I have a home and I have family members there, but I'm not interested in living in Calcutta at all. Calcutta is just somewhere that even though I speak the language, I don't see myself living there. There's a lot that needs to be more developed. Very energetic. It's very populated. It is a city. Where Mumbai is more like a city. Like it's more modern. Even like coming to what I can wear is very different. In Calcutta, there are certain things that if I wear, I'll feel uncomfortable. But I can dress like how I would dress in Tokyo, in Mumbai, and obviously in Goa as well. Goa is more on it's around the beach, so it's
Oh, it's totally different environment.
yeah, it's very different. And that's why like I think I can still be myself comfortably in these two cities. And then the big part is like I have friends there as well. But I can just be like I can kind of have a similar life that I have in Tokyo or other cities, other parts of the world in those two cities, or the vibe. I just love the vibe. Some places you don't like it, some places you like it,
yeah.
you get along,
Yeah.
that kind of
I
thing.
know what you mean. This question might be a little bit tricky, and then it must be hard to answer for sure. Where's your home? If someone asks you,
Japan
which
is
country?
now
Yeah.
my home. Sorry, I cut you.
Yeah, Japan.
Japan is now my home. I call it home. Like I've spent majority of my life here. If somebody wanted to come to Japan, I can take them around. Like I'm that comfortable. I know the country. I know the culture as much as I know. And so Japan is home, but not exactly. I don't know if I belong here, but Japan is still my home. Home is exactly not the place I think that equals to the amount of years that you spend. But for me, Japan feels that way. But like India, I've lived there only a year, and then I do back and forth every year. But just by my dad's side and my family being there, like India is very connected to me, and I have roots, and I feel Indian. Partly, I do feel Indian. So like India is still my home. So there's two homes. But it's like
Okay.
second home is India, and then Japan is my home. But then when people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm from Japan, and then they're like, "Oh, but no, I mean like where are you? Like what are you?" No, that's the second question that I'll be asked. So I'm like, "Oh, I mean like I'm Japanese, but like my dad's Indian." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, the dots connect. I understand who you are."
Okay. You mentioned you grew up in America until 11 again, right?
Yeah, so
Until
I
you're
did like back and forth. Like I was in Japan, not exactly back and forth. I was in Japan at least once a year, but I went to India. I was in India for 1 year.
What age at the time?
I was 9. And then I went back to the States, and then I came back when I was like 11, around 11. But
How did you learn Japanese? Because you were not in Japan until 12, 11 ish. So like, how did you do it? Like, is your mom or?
so I was originally born in Tokyo. So I went to this like international kindergarten. In home, Japanese was not the first language that everybody was speaking, kind of. So I would still understand like Japanese like a 3, 4 year old. And then I went to the States, and I would speak in English. Me and my mom would speak in Japanese, and then I came back. So I had a little bit of like I could understand, but I couldn't understand the respectives like keigo, how actually Japanese people communicate. I think a lot of people in Japan are really good with understanding between the lines and reading the air. A lot of things are communicated in very gray zones because the language is actually kind of made for that as well. So I couldn't understand all of that. That's just learning and living here for like majority of my life now. But I went to a domestic school to learn Japanese, and also I went to like Kumon. And then because I didn't go to a Japanese school in the States, like on Saturdays, a lot of the Japanese kids go. I hated it because I couldn't understand. And my mom was like, it's fine. Okay, just like, you'll have to deal with it when you ever go back. Like, you can't, you're going to go through hardship. But, sorry, my language. But so yeah, so I just like studied Japanese. That's all. I don't know. Like, how is very difficult. I just went to school and I studied it.
Is there any moment that you feel it's difficult for you to understand Japanese or express yourself in Japanese? Is there any moment right now or not anymore?
Yes and no, but I'd say more towards yes. But depending on what kind of things that I want to express. I think Indians are more known as like emotional and being expressive. Japanese people are not that expressive because there's a beauty of harmony and like not expressing or at too much or like being emotional. And I think it's not bad or right or like, good. But I am more on the expressive side. I am very more yes and no, black and white. If I want to explain something of what I'm feeling, like feelings, English is much more easier for me to express than Japanese. Like I'm single right now, but when I was dating, it was hard for me to kind of like explain certain things in Japanese. So what would I would do is like I will say it in English first, and then I'm like, okay, let me translate. Like I couldn't do that in Japanese. It didn't match what I was feeling. Because Japanese is not meant to express. That's what I feel. It's not because like okay, look there I'll give you like an example. Like Natsume Soseki. He said the moon is pretty. That means I love you.
Yeah.
Like come on. Like that's how Japanese is. It's like it might be like putting it like, to the extreme, but that's how it is. So like it's not an expressive language.
So okay, last at the end, you speak Japanese and Bengali as well, right?
Yeah.
Can we talk in Japanese and first? Yeah. じゃあしばらくはずっと日本をベースにしますか？
日本をそう東京をベースに置いてるってずっと言ってて、でもそうね、なんか年間を通して結局ずっといないから。
僕今気づいたのが英語話す時と日本語話す時の声のトーンがちょっと違うと思った。
そうすごい言われる。そう日本語の方が高いんだよねきっと。
めっちゃ思った。めっちゃ思った今。
そうなの。だから日本語で話してると年下にすごい見られる。25、6に思われるの。
はいはいはい。
あとそう。
Can you introduce yourself in Bengali?
I don't know.
Like easy ones, so I can put subtitles.
I got nervous when I have to speak Bengali on camera, but I don't know. Namaskar, amar naam Priyanka. Ami aajke onek khushi je. Oh, this is so bad Bengali. Oh wow. Ami kone onek kira paechi.
What did you say?
So bad. I'm so hungry.
Sorry, it took
I'm hungry right now.
Hey, it took so much time. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Really appreciate it. ありがとうございました。
No, thank you. ありがとうございます。
Okay, thank you for watching so far. How was it? That was interesting. I'm also planning to interview half Japanese, half Arab people. If you know anyone or if you are one of them, please let me know. Okay, anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this video, click like button. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any question you want me to ask people in Japan, please leave the comment too. See you next time.